What's up, everybody? How we doing? What's up, guys? How we doing? All right, all right. I'm excited, you guys. We're going to close this thing out strong today. We've had an amazing weekend, wouldn't you say? I always say only the strongest survive, and you guys are the survivors that are still here with us, right? Midway through a Saturday. Some people had to go home. Some people are probably stuck in the casino right now. Some people probably haven't even woken up yet, okay? But I always tell people that leaders identify themselves to us through their actions. Sometimes you need some people to fall off because you need to be able to identify the fruit on the tree. And that's where you need to put your focus. I'm excited to be here today. I'm excited to speak into your lives. And my goal today is to help you spark a movement, to light a fire and ignite a fire within your team. I'm going to ask my own team to quiet down, please. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. But I'm here to speak into your lives. What I would hope is that when this is over, you guys go home and take immediate massive action to have a complete life change by next year, by next Expo. Set goals from this day moving forward that you're not going to come back here the same, that you're going to be forever changed. But it starts with you sparking a movement. Now, in order to know where you're going, you have to figure out where you want to end up. Now, everybody has a big goal here at achieving that level of diamond. You guys watch the diamonds walk the stage, and you probably envisioned yourself walking that stage one day. You probably thought about the things you're going to say, who's going to be up there with you. You probably envisioned yourself in front of Wendy and Randy, giving them a hug, taking a big picture with them and Scott, and then sharing your story, celebrating your team. Of course, we all have done that at the very beginning of our careers. But when you know where you want to go, that's at the moment where you want to reverse engineer this thing. That's all I've ever done in my career. That's all my leaders have ever done. We put a plan in place, we figured out the destination, and then we reversed engineered how to get there. It's exactly what we did. The destination is always diamond, but there are people that try to figure out how long it's going to take to get there. What do I have to do? How quick did he do it? How quick did she do it? People are studying these things for years and years. Psychologists and scientists have tried to figure it out, and they've tried to put it down to an exact number of hours. How do I become a professional? At what time in my career is it that I hit pay dirt? That it actually happens for me, that I actually get on stage and share my story with my peers and my teammates. And they've put it down to a rule. There's a book called Outliers by Malcolm Gladwell. And in that book, there's a chapter called 10,000 Hours. I would advise you to read it. That book was actually given to me by the CEO of my first company as a Christmas gift, and he highlighted that chapter. When I read that chapter, my life changed forever. I started to measure my work. I started to measure the things that I did in my business to get me to that level that I wanted to get to in my career. And that's what made the difference. But in this book, there's a rule. The 10,000 hour rule says that 10,000 hours of practice is required to achieve the level of mastery associated with being a world-class expert in anything. And study after study of composers, entrepreneurs, basketball players, fiction writers, ice skaters, concert pianists, chess players, master criminals, and what have you, this number comes up again and again. No one has found a case in which true world-class expertise was accomplished in less time. It seems that it takes the brain this long to assimilate all that it needs to know to achieve true mastery. When psychologists and psychiatrists, scientists have looked closely at the careers of the gifted, they found that time after time, it's the amount of hours that they've associated with that amount of skill, with that success. They found that in order to have success, it takes hours and hours and hours of practice. You guys know the difference between 4,000 hours and 10,000 hours? It's the distance from good to great. You have to make the decision this weekend whether you want to be an amateur or a professional. Because amateurs work this business a few hours a week. There are many people that will come to these events. They work this business like a hobby. It's the side thing that maybe their husband lets them do, or the side thing they do on besides their business or their job. They work this business a few hours a week, and they're here for years. And they're always comparing themselves to the person sitting next to them or the person that's crossing the stage, and they're wondering why they aren't there. They're associating the time they've been involved in this business when it comes to weeks and years to the time that other people have been in this business for the same amount of time. They don't understand it's the hours we put into the days. It's the hours we put into the weeks. It's the hours of time that we put into our years that's going to get us there. And they work this business a few hours a week, and then 10 years later, they've accounted for almost 1,500 hours. Not nearly anywhere close to what it needs to take to become a professional. And then you have the people that focus their efforts year after year on increasing the amount of time that they put into their business again and again and again. And in 10 years, they've completed their 10,000 hours. Most people, they want overnight success. But the truth is that success happens over the course of many nights. Most people just see the person joining and the person crossing the stage. They don't see everything that went in between that. Never compare yourself to anyone else, because you all have your own individual, unique story. What distinguishes top performers from other performers is simply the amount of work that he or she put into that business. That's it. There's nothing else. Top performers don't work harder than everyone else. They don't work much harder than everyone else. They work much harder than everyone else. In this book, they shared a few stories of successfully gifted people. In this first picture, you see a man, his name's Bill Joy. If you don't know who he is, he's the founder of Sun Microsystems. He's the one who actually wrote and coded the computer language Java. He's spoken about like Bill Gates of Microsoft. Some people even call him the Edison of the internet. When he went to the University of Michigan as a teenager, they opened up the computer science lab for the first time. It was one of the only computer science labs in the country of any university. He spent all morning and all night. He didn't hang out with friends. He went to school, and he was always focused on going and working in that computer program, going and working on that big, brand new computer in that computer lab. He spent hours and hours and hours on it. And after 4 years, he had totaled up over 1,200 hours, 12,000 hours. There are no naturals in life. When you see people up here, you don't just think he's a natural or she's a natural. They're successful because of this. Of course he's successful. Of course she's successful. She's always successful. There are no such thing as naturals. There are only grinders. People that put in the work, people that put in the time. Most of it you never see. It's hours and hours and hours and hours upon end of working on that thing, focused solely and intently on getting better with all those hours they're putting in every single week. It just adds up over time, and you walk into that professional lifestyle. It's 10,000 hours. Mozart, he started writing music at the age of 6 years old. He didn't write his first masterpiece until he was 21. And by that time, he'd already been composing concerts for 10 years. His best works didn't even come about until he had been composing and writing for 20 years. Mozart, he wasn't born that way. He put in the time. He became that way. In order to become a Grand Master chess champion, it usually takes 10 years. Unless, of course, you're the legendary Bobby Fischer, and it only took him 9. Bill Gates, owner and creator of Microsoft. He went to a private high school, fortunately, and the Mothers Organization there that focused on charitable giving and philanthropic causes had invested in a computer program and a computer for their school. Bill Gates and a few of his friends got together and they focused all their time and energy in that computer program. The computer was taken away, it was given to a university, and they went every day of the summer to that university to work on that computer. He spent his entire summers for 4 years. He spent his entire evenings after school walking there to that university to work on that computer, to learn how those things work. They were brand new technology at that time to him. And he became who he was. He went to Harvard University and dropped out his second year in school because he loved and was so passionate about these computer systems to go start his own company. Look where he is today. The Beatles. Most people just remember their success and thinking, wow, these kids just got together and they became an instant fame. No one knows they were already playing together for 10 years prior to that. They were lucky if they were able to get a place to play in the evening time until one day, some people in Hamburg, Germany invited them to come play in strip clubs. They weren't just 2-hour sets where the Beatles said when they had 2-hour sets, they would just play only their best music. And they would have to play it time and time again. In these strip clubs, they had to play 8 hours a day, every single day of the week. Can you imagine the amount of hours that they had to practice together? And practice together and practice. They got to practice everything and get creative. It's all that time they put in during those 3 years that helped them tally up more than 10,000 hours before coming to America and just having this immediate amount of success. The 10,000 hour rule. How many of you are measuring the time you're actually putting into your business? I'm not talking about measuring the days and weeks and months since your enrollment date. Everybody has a join date, but not everybody has a start date. The clock starts ticking as soon as you get started. It doesn't matter when your join date was. I don't care about that. It's when you make the decision to spark the movement. I don't know if you know who these guys are right here. That's me and my twin brother, Brandon. It's my best friend in the world. Thank you. You know, most people, when they saw me get started in network marketing, I was 26 years old. In my first 8 months, I became the youngest top earner in my company in 8 months. People thought, how did he do it? I got to do exactly what he did. If I can't do what he did, it's not for me. They didn't know how many hours I put into myself before that. They didn't know how I grew up or where I came from. I wasn't handed a silver spoon. I wasn't born with affluent parents. My parents were not educated. My parents weren't even married. They weren't together. I grew up with my mom in government housing in Northern California, food stamps and welfare. At an early age, me and my brother had to go out and start working to help my mom keep the lights on, to keep the water hot, to keep food on the table, clothes on our back. It was hard enough to have, one pair of shoes that stayed together for 2 years before our feet started popping out the end. But at 8 years old, my brother and I started going out in the neighborhood and knocking on doors and washing cars and mowing lawns and doing anything we could to earn income to bring back to our mom. And I remember as we got older, all the other kids, they were playing baseball, playing football, they were playing sports, they got to do their homework. We had to figure out when to do that stuff. We were 15 years old. My mom always said, you know what, when you guys get older, you and your brother are going to go to college one day, right? And that was her dream for us. She said, one day you're going to buy me a house. And that's all we knew when we were little. We're going to go to college, we're going to buy my mom a house. We're going to go to college, we're going to buy my mom a house. I remember that was what we thought that was supposed to happen. So when we became about 15 years old, we had to go to a high school. And in order to get into a good college, you have to go to a good school, a good high school first for those colleges to take that education seriously to get into a good college. And we found a private high school, an all-boys Catholic high school in Northern California called De La Salle High School. And we took the test. We took the BART bus and the train 3 hours to get to that school. We took the placement exam. All these rich kids were there. Their parents were dropping them off at the front. We were walking from the bus station just to go to the school. We filled out the forms. We took the test. And a couple weeks later, we found out we got accepted into that school. That was just the beginning, because now we had to figure out how to pay for that school. My mom didn't even make as much as it cost for one of us to go there every single year. She had to stay at home and take care of my sister. She couldn't really hold a job, and she didn't really have any skill sets. And I remember my brother and I, we applied at every single job in town. And a lot of people hired us because they liked us. And my brother and I put together a strategy. Okay, if we got to pay for this school, we have to work more than one job. So how are we going to do it? And we looked at all the places that hired us and we put a plan in place. We would leave our home every morning at about 3:30. Pitch black outside. We'd run to the bus stop, or we'd catch the BART bus to go to the BART train station. We'd go do all the transfers from terminal to terminal to get to Pleasant Hill, California. And then we'd save 10 or 20 cents, whatever it was at that time, on a bus fare, and we'd run to our first job just to save that, because that equaled $1 or a couple dollars at the end of the week, which was a lot to us. We'd run to our first job about, I would say, 4 miles away with our backpacks and everything, fully dressed, right? And we were janitors in the morning. We scrubbed toilets, we emptied garbage cans, we dust off the corporate people's desks, we vacuumed the floors and swept out the kitchen, cleaned out the refrigerator, whatever. And we did that. We'd run to school, do our homework in the library before school started. In between the breaks when all the kids were hanging out, we were sitting against the lockers in the hallways doing our homework. We'd go to school, go to our sports practice because we were good in sports. And then we'd run to our second job after that at Exxon gas station. We were the shop boys. We cleaned up after the mechanics and we filled up the fuel at the full service pump. And we'd leave that job at about 8 o'clock at night, roll down the doors, lock the bay doors. We run to Applebee's for 3 hours where we were a host. We seated people at their tables. And every 2 weeks we got paid, and we took our checks on the back, pay to the order of De La Salle High School, pay to the order of De La Salle High School. We turned in our checks and we paid our tuition for 4 years. We did that. All the kids saw what we did. And to us, it was normal. It wasn't like, look at us and what we're doing. That's what we had to do. It was my normal. But to other kids, it was like, what are these kids doing? And they began to tell their parents. And I remember our final year in high school, this kid, Michael Chang, this Chinese kid, he came up to us in class and said, hey, you guys, you don't have to pay your tuition anymore because my mom just went into the office and paid it for you. I was like, oh my gosh. I always look for that kid, Michael Chang. I can't find him. Usually you can find anybody on Facebook. Can't find him anywhere. I just want to tell him how we ended up because of that. But can you guys see that from the moment I was 8 till even 15 to 18 years old, I had put in all those hours already. I've developed all those skill sets. I developed a work ethic. I did all those in order to achieve everything I want, in order to achieve my mom's dream, go to college. We got full ride universities. University of Southern California, we got full ride scholarships for sports and academics. We had our whole university paid for because of all that. We went there and played sports. We graduated at the top of our class. I got my degree in criminology and pre-law. And after that, I knew that if I wanted to change my life and really buy my mom a home and help my sister and do all these things, then I had to do something great. And I remember I got involved in real estate and mortgage banking. I didn't know anything about that industry. I sat at a desk with no leads. I was only 20 years old. The owner gave me a shot. I listened and listened. I was there at like 6 in the morning and I left at 11 o'clock at night. 3 years, all those hours. I probably put in 8 more hours every day than everyone else did. And in 3 years, I became a millionaire in that industry before network marketing. One of the top real estate and mortgage professionals. And in 2007, when the economy crashed, I started network marketing. A neighbor introduced this to me. And I was like, what do? I didn't know what to do. He'd only been in the business for 9 weeks. I knew that you got to show the plan and you got to talk to people. You got to show the plan and you got to talk to people. Right? And I remember spending my days, my mornings and nights after work, because I still work full time, studying, learning everything, building my belief, talking to people, setting up appointments, sharing product, doing presentations. The way you see me right now wasn't the way I was when I started. I'd be afraid to do this right now, okay? Back then. But I just put time and time and time and time and time and time, more than everybody else, not even knowing it, because that was already my work ethic. I had already stretched myself to that speed by the time I was 26 years old starting network marketing. And in 8 months, I achieved greatness in this industry. So now it's time to write your story. It's time to log your hours, and it starts today. It starts today. For many of you in here, you just have to make the decision. We are 125 days away from the next event. What are your goals until that point? We build our business from event to event to event to event. What are your goals? What is your plan over the next 125 days? Addison, Texas, lead. Yes, you will be there. Why would you be here and not be there? This is your business. That's where we get the training. That's where we get the motivation. That's where we hear the stories. That's where we get the spark that changes our life, that helps us make the decision to go all in. If we don't go there, no one's going there. That's where you go with new team members who aren't with you right now, who are sitting in the seats next to you, who make the decision and go home doing this thing with or without you. That creates life change. I'm not here because of everything I did. I'm here because of everything a few people have done in my business. Not a few hundred or a few thousand, a few people in my business have changed my life. And the same thing can happen to you guys, but it starts there. How will you show up for your business every single day? What's your plan of attack or plan of action leaving this event, going home? You have to have one. You're not just here to get motivated. Motivation will run out by the time you get back to your hotel room. Okay? What is my plan? What am I going to do? What am I going to put to paper today when I get to my room? What's my plan? How am I going to log in the hours? How many hours am I going to commit to this business every single week? You could treat it 3 different ways. You could treat this business like your job and show up to work every single day. Okay? That's how I trick my mind. I treat it like my job. If I didn't show up to work tomorrow, I'm fired. If I only showed up to work for a couple hours today and then I decided to go home, my boss is like, where are you going? Not everybody has the same opportunity. Not everyone can just do this thing full time. By the way, if you're doing this thing full time, maybe maximum you can work this business 5-6 hours a day if you're lucky. Some of you can figure out how to stretch it, but I'm being honest with you. You treat it like your job. Some of you who treat it like your job, you'll have a lot more success a lot faster than others, because all it is math. 5 days a week, you can take the weekends off. You can pick any 2 days off during the week. 8 hours a day over the next 18 weeks until lead, 125 days away. That's 720 hours. That's crazy. You're almost 1/10 of the way there and you didn't even realize that. All it is math. Or you could treat it like your Jeanette's business, like most people do. Okay? 5 days a week, 3 hours a day. That's really good, by the way, if you can do that. Times 18 weeks, that's 270 hours. How can the face of your business change with an extra 270 hours in it? Imagine that's duplicated beyond yourself into your business. How could your business look just by understanding those numbers? Or you could treat it like most people do. I would say 70% of people treat it like that side thing, like your hobby. That's my network marketing business, right? What I want you to know about hobbies is hobbies always cost us money. They never make us money. Businesses and jobs make us money. All we have to do is show up. That side thing, 3 days a week, 2 hours a day times 18 weeks, still 108 hours. It's just going to take you more time, and you have to understand you can't compare your time to their time, to his time or her time. What is your time? My advice to you is decide to go pro. Decide to become a professional in this business. Decide to start working on your 10,000 hours. Decide what you're going to commit to leaving this event. How much you're going to go into this event. Lean forward into it. You can decide for yourself. Now, most people in network marketing, they want success tomorrow or tonight. All right? But the reality is that what else could you be doing over the next 5 years to change your life completely and the future of your family? I mean, at your job, you're not worried about working 40 years to retirement, but here you're worried about working 4 months. Think about it. Treat this like your job. In 5 years, if your life could be completely changed, would that be okay? Of course it would. It goes by like that. 12 years already, Jeunesse has been in existence. I've been here for 8 of those. Your network marketing business, 12 years. What else could you be doing over the next 12 years to change your life? There's really nothing. Or you could treat it like your hobby and still achieve greatness quicker than your job. It's up to you. Leaving this event, the first thing you need to do is make the decision to be at the next event, because we build our business from event to event to event. This is the only place that we fuel ourselves, that we recharge our mindsets. It's the only place. It can't happen on a webinar. The people that are at home, I'm sure, are enjoying the content, but this is where the energy is transferred from me to you guys. Right here, right? You could feel it right now. You buy your ticket to lead. That's what you need to do. And you need to get some extra tickets for the teammates who aren't here right now, for the teammates who haven't joined with you. Every single one of you shouldn't just focus on yourself, but yourself and 5 to 10 others. Start small, it'll grow bigger. Invest in your business, because over the next 225 days, you're going to need inventory. You're going to need ammunition. We launched 2 new products this weekend. How many of you will have that in your hands over the next 125 days, over the next 30 days? Of course, those are the people who cross the stage. Success leaves clues. You can remind yourself over and over again why you're at where you're at, and the answers are right there and reflecting right back at you in the mirror. Invest in yourself, invest in your business. Get to the next event no matter what. That's step 1. You cannot skip a step here, you guys. If you skip step 1, it will never happen. Step 2, identify your runners. Who are the people that are running with you? They don't have to be everybody. You just need a few. A few people will change your life. Identify those people. Set some goals. What are the goals? What do we want to accomplish by the next event? Is it a rank goal? Is it an income goal? Is it a team growth goal? Is it a volume target? Is it developing some skill sets that we haven't had before? I want to learn how to show the plan every week. I want to learn how to talk to more prospects every single day. What is it you're going to get good at because of the time you're putting in every day, and practice just makes perfect. Set some goals together. Get that supporting cast. Get your husband, get your wife, get your supporting, get your husband, get your wife, get your boyfriend, get your girlfriend, get your kids, whoever they are around you, get them supporting you. Let them know that I am running for the next 125 days to that next event. I'm not only going to change my life, I'm changing all of our lives in this house. I'm doing this for us, because if they think you're only doing it for you and you don't include them, they're not going to cheer you on. You need a supporting cast. You need to let them know that the time you're taking from them is for us. It's not for me. You need a supporting cast, and they need to be involved. My kids are cheering me on. My daughter's saying, "Good luck, Daddy." She made me wear this bracelet. Make sure you wear my bracelet. My wife said, "Good luck, honey. You're going to do great today." I'm missing our soccer tournament today. I'm missing a wedding I'm supposed to be at with my wife tonight. For you guys, for this company. The more successful you guys get, the more successful I get. Then put your plan in place. Track it out over the next 125 days. When are the trainings? When are the weekly presentations? When are the new distributor orientations? What days am I prospecting? What days am I following up? What days am I out there finding new customers? Okay? Put a calendar in place and plug your team in. Start doing it regularly. It might be something foreign and no one understands why you're doing this, but after 3, 4, 5 weeks, it becomes the normal in your business. And everybody is plugged in. And then you can start delegating assignments to different people on your team. It's your turn this night. It's your turn that day. And then your team starts to grow. Develop some infrastructure for them. And then show, share, and celebrate everything along the way. Over the next 125 days, how many new people are you going to welcome to your organization? Not on your team chat, but to the world, to the people who aren't involved. I'd like to welcome my new friend Cindy, who just joined my organization. I can't wait to see how this business changes their lives. I want to welcome my new friend Brian, who just made a decision after 3 months of sitting on the sidelines to join Jeunesse. I can't wait to see how this changes his and his family's lives. He has a huge why. Celebrate small wins, big wins, everything. Celebrate customers, testimonies who are using the product and seeing a big difference in their health. Celebrate the $500,000 that was just donated to the Ronald McDonald Fund. Celebrate that stuff, because this isn't happening in other people's jobs or in other people's businesses. Show, share, and celebrate everything. People need to see that. You're planting seed after seed after seed. It's not just selling. It's not just bragging. You're sharing, showing, and celebrating everything that has to do with this business. And then read, listen, and watch something motivational every single day. My mentors don't even know who I am. I'm watching their YouTube videos every single day. I'm on Instagram sharing their stuff to my stories. I can't wait to see the things that they're posting. They're not network marketers, they're just entrepreneurs, people that are grinders, not naturals, grinders, people that have been working on their thing for 10,000 hours. And it's all the same recipe for success. It's just hard work. That's it. That's all it is. And as you can see, in between every single one of these steps is promoting the event, and promoting the event, and promoting the event, and promoting the event. Whether you're showing the plan or talking to a customer, whether you're onboarding a new person, you're always promoting the event, the event, the event. Nobody starts a business and misses out on the instructions, okay? Nobody starts a business and says, "No, I don't need the training." Tell them, you bought the business, now you need the training. And in between that, I'm going to show you what we do in this business. Maximum exposure for you. We build from event to event to event. And then don't quit. Don't quit, because you're not even close to 10,000 yet. Don't quit. The difference between 4,000 and 10,000 is good to great. So keep on going and keep on going and keep on going from event to event to event to event, and then get to that next event with your team. Speak the language of this business. It's events that change our lives. It's events that spark the movement. It's events where we make the real decisions. It's events where that energy gets transferred to us so we never leave this business or this company. It's events. Over your 10,000-hour journey, all that's expected of you is to learn, develop, and then become. We will all cross the finish line, just at different times. Don't worry about the runner on the left or worry about the runner on the right. Just focus on the road ahead and the finish line that is almost yours. I wish you guys the best of success. I'm always praying for you guys, and I can't wait to see you guys on the stage sharing your story one day. God bless you. Thank you. Thank you.
My man, Calvin Becerra.